Well, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Hard Count. A little late. My fault. It's my fault. CJ was here on time, punctual, as per usual. I was a little late. I was a little late. Kind of forgot what day it was. Well, listen, a lot of things going on, you know, maneuvering. But as I always say, and as the people say, it is better late than never. CJ, my friend, how are we, brother?
Yes, sir. All is well. Really good football. Last on Sunday, it's close games. Went down to the wire. It's exactly how it should be. The game before the Super Bowl. Uh, Personal life week was calm week. Not too much to complain about. And yeah, man, just ready to talk some football with you, bro. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. All right. We got a little NFL news here. CJ, anything that you were thinking of here?
Yeah. So Mike McDonald got
All
Ravens defensive coordinator. Former Ravens defensive coordinator, did a hell of a job these last two seasons with the Ravens defense. Is now the new head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. I think it was a great pickup by Seattle. Uh, they have a bunch of young players over there. Obviously, Witherspoon being one of the best young corners, not even just young corners, just corners in the league. B Wags coming back last year, coming back, bringing his leadership and everything that he does. Got some really young D linemen up there up front. So he's a really good hire. Again, so many, obviously the trend. Grab was good. My Brad was good. Um, I think obviously the trend is, hiring that young offensive coordinator uh, that could kind of, help a quarterback, mold the quarterback, and to have success going forward. The stuff that we've talked about, for the last 3 years since we've been together. But uh, it doesn't hurt. There's just like there's offensive geniuses, there's defensive geniuses too. And what
Youngest coach in the
Mike,
league.
yeah, exactly. What Mike McDonald has done, not even just in at the the pro level, also collegiately. You look at he got a big vote of confidence from Jim Harbaugh when he was at the University of Michigan for those couple years, which led to him becoming the DC of the Baltimore Ravens. And he's just like I say, he's done a phenomenal job, and now he's got an opportunity to run his own show. So congrats to him. Still some talks about the Commanders. They're still fielding some offers. Ben Johnson was a guy highly touted offensive coordinator, highly touted candidate that was looking like he was going to be a head coach here soon, but he decided to stay another year with Detroit, and hopefully find an opportunity next year. I think it's a smart move. I think Detroit, they had a hell of a season. We're obviously going to dive into the game and everything, but overall they had a great season, putting up 30 points. I mean, it felt like at any given week, every single week, it felt like had a great, really molded Goff's career and revitalized Jared Goff's career. He played a big role in that. He just wants to stay one more year, and you never know what's going to happen. These teams, we think they're going to be good, and then they end up being bad, and you could have a Charger situation where you could end up on a team and be the head coach of a team with a really good quarterback, a lot of upside. So he probably weighed his options and felt like going back to Detroit was the best move, and I think he made the right choice.
Yeah, I mean, obviously starting with McDonald. It's so weird saying Mac and not Mick, but that's might be a fat person problem. Uh, yeah, obviously him becoming the head coach. Like I said, the youngest coach in the league now, and you said it already, but everybody's trying to find that Shanahan, that McVay, something of that nature. Keep it young on the coaching side of things, so they can, I mean, we saw it. Uh, Bill didn't even get I mean, he got sniffed around the Atlanta job, but nowhere else. Surprised Vrabel didn't get any offers or anything as well. But you know, I think the funny part is, and I mean, we do it anyway because this is what shows like this are about, is prognosticating out things and thinking what we're going to say in the future. We have no idea how good he's going to be. Obviously, with the Ravens, he was a very good defensive coordinator. They were first this year in points per game, yards allowed, takeaways, everything of that nature, and they have excellent talent over there on the Ravens side of things. But being a head coach, as a lot of people have figured out, is a totally different ballgame. You're in charge of a lot more people. You're in charge of creating a staff. Um, you're being pulled in a million different directions now instead of being able to have your singular focus. With whatever side of the ball you were coordinating before. So listen, the track record is obviously very good. You have to see what he actually turns into, but good for him. I think the Seahawks, got themselves what they are looking for, obviously, or else they wouldn't have hired him. And then kind of going over to Ben Johnson, I totally agree with you. Um, with the teams remaining, what are the Commanders the only team now that don't have a head coach with McDonald being hired?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Listen, being a head coach is great. There's only 30 of those jobs out there. Guess what? There's only 30 jobs, for offensive and defensive coordinator as well. So, he already has a very good job. Like you said, he revitalized Goff's career, have the Lions looking very good. And, something that I've heard a lot recently, just the wisdom being passed down. Would you rather be part of the winning team or the coach of the losing team? you know? And I think that's kind of, maybe where his head was in that process. I think everybody kind of agrees that the Lions have, a good chance, if not repeating what they did this year, at least being competitive, you know? And with the Commanders, you're probably still thinking that they're a few years away. They have to get the quarterback right. So, you could have Ben Johnson in there. What if they, GM overrides him, gets the quarterback wrong, doesn't take exactly who he wants, and then you're stuck with somebody you don't want or somebody you don't really believe in. So maybe next year, hey, what if McCarthy doesn't, bring the Cowboys to the promised land again? They go out and get a Ben Johnson. I mean, what if, one of these young or what if one of these established teams, like you said, don't have the season that they want? What if the Eagles are bad? If the Eagles have a disappointing year, maybe they get off to a slow start or something like that. They fire, Sirianni halfway through the year. They call Ben Johnson in the offseason. Hey, what are you doing? Something of that nature. So I think, to me, he's probably one of the more sought after coaches, I would have to imagine. Uh, so he's going to be able to have his pick of the litter, basically. And if I was him, I would do that. Why? Listen, being a head coach is obviously fantastic, but what if you, don't believe in the Commanders? What if you, and who knows? Maybe the Commanders didn't even reach out to him.
No,
But
they did. They
they
did,
did.
and
Okay,
that
all right. Listen, good
he
for him
said,
then.
yeah, he
If,
said he felt like he wasn't going to be the like one of their top, two or three candidates, um, because you know how it goes. Like you have one interview over
yeah,
Zoom, whatever, and then once if they feel like it's a potential hire, they'll do the second interview. And
Gridiron
yeah,
said if Commanders
Airbnb.
don't hire Bieniemy as head coach, they're fools. I mean, hey,
It's a possibility. I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, why not stay in the house? He could definitely have that shot. But
offense looks good this year. They're, you know,
yeah,
at
look,
least at moments it did.
yeah, exactly. It looks solid. It looks solid. But for Johnson, it's I think it was a good move. But then you also got to remember too, you've seen a lot of times where it's you're having a couple good seasons and you stay. And then that year where you stay, it's not the same. The offense isn't the same. Defense start to figure guys out. Maybe Goff doesn't have the same type of year that he's had the last 2 years. Now those opportunities kind of dwindle, and you miss out. Now that's not to say he'll never get an opportunity again, because I do think he's a really good coach, and what he's done with that team. I still think there's another level they could go, and they put up 31 against one of the best teams in the league this
Yeah.
year. So they're really good. But again, it's football. Like we always say, it's football. So things like that can definitely happen. I'm still a little intrigued as to how. I thought the commander job would be a job that would have already have a head coach. I mean, looks they have the second pick in the
Well,
draft.
I was, believe it or not, watched the Michael Kay show, which the Yankee announcer, but one of their co-hosts, Peter Rosenberg,
Right.
big Commanders fan, and so they kind of talk about them occasionally. And he was saying on the show that, I believe it was on that show, it might have been somewhere else. Maybe I'm getting my facts wrong here, but I know that somebody said that the Commanders aren't looking to hire a big presence at the head coaching position because they just hired a big presence at the GM. So they kind of want, in a way, to me, it sounded like they kind of want a head coach that they can control instead of having, an overbearing head coach where it's like he wants to make all of the decisions. They're kind of looking for somebody like, we'll point you in this direction and go that way. That's kind of how it sounded to me because obviously they hired, somebody substantial at the GM position. So maybe they want to have him have his person. So there's no, back and forth miscommunications and they can, kind of be on the same page. So maybe they looked at that and they were like, yeah, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, whether it's a highly, profile name or not, I just felt like they would at least, I guess they're taking their time, which I guess when you bring in new ownership, Joshua Harris, owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, leading that group. Obviously, Magic Johnson is also part of that investment group that's owning the Washington Commanders. I get it, going from Snyder, who, I mean, it's just a disaster.
Can't be much worse.
Yeah, exactly. It can't get much worse than that. And obviously, Harris has had a lot of success um, being the owner of the Sixers, and obviously Magic Johnson has also had success being executives in different places. So I think that's the best move for that franchise, for that city. So I completely understand taking the time. I think Bieniemy, something that Gridiron just talked about. I think that'd be a good option for them. They have, like I said, they have a lot of cap space, and they have the second pick, which obviously is going to be a quarterback. So uh, to me, it's like that's like a head coach up next head coach should be their dream. I mean, you get a boatload of cash to spend, and then you get to pretty much find the quarterback that you want to coach for the next let's just say 5 years if everything works out. I think that's obviously going to be the next move, and whoever they hire. Uh, it's going to be pretty substantial, whether it's a high profile name or uh, one of these maybe lower level guys that may not be talked about as much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go on from there and kind of get into the actual games. I would imagine. Let's go over to the conference championship over there in the AFC with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Chiefs obviously came out on top in this one. I believe it was 17-10. I don't have the thing pulled up, I should say, but 17-10. I want to say it was over there. Chiefs got the victory. Headed to a Super Bowl again. I mean, listen, for me, I think it was, the absolute worst game that the Ravens played the entire season. I think it was one of Lamar's worst games. And I think, I mean, we just talked about how the defensive coordinator got hired for a job. I think this was a terrible offensive game, obviously, for the Ravens. They're a running team. That's what they did the entire year. They were the number one running team. You have Lamar, who can do design runs who can scramble. Obviously, we all know his abilities. There's no hiding that. They passed the ball 82% of the time. Like, listen, the run wasn't exactly the most explosive thing I've ever seen, but don't you kind of, and I mean, I guess we'll kind of get into this later on with the Lions, and I'll probably end up contradicting myself. Actually, I know I will. But what you do, how you got there is what you should keep doing. Usually, maybe not. I won't contradict myself because I just said usually. Let's remember that, people. Um, but they're a running team, and all of a sudden you're dropping back like you got Tom Brady behind there. Like, listen, I think Lamar has improved as a passer unbelievably. There is no doubt about that, especially with Flowers. OBJ barely got targeted, though, which was also a little strange. Felt like Mark Andrews, maybe. I mean, obviously not 100% healthy, but he wasn't as involved as I thought he would be. And I just didn't like the offensive game plan at all. Like, I just, you give up 17 points in the championship game to the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs' offense definitely isn't the same as it's been in the past, but you give up 17 points in a championship game, you should win that game. Now, obviously, people, oh, well, the Chiefs gave up 10. Well, no, really, but you give and not a single point in the second half that the Ravens gave up. So obviously, everything was locked down, but just a very, very bad performance, and it is a shame too because I mean, you got the Lamar haters. I don't think I was ever a hater. I just didn't think I was in love with him as much as everybody else was. But it just it feeds into it more because he had an MVP season. He's going to win his second MVP. Um, and this was everybody thought that hey, especially after beating the 49ers the way that they did, this is probably the best team in football going down the stretch. Number one seed. You're finally hosting your first AFC championship game, I think, in the franchise's history. And that's what you did. Now, there's also a flip side to this. Steve Spagnuolo this man was calling some unbelievable defensive plays. Obviously, had them off balance, had them shut down. So, kudos to him. But it was just no matter what, I think it was just a very bad Raven performance. And it's a shame because I think most people want to see the Ravens win here. I mean, I know I did. That might be my chief hate coming into everything, but just not a very good performance, and the play calling and everything is still kind of odd to me. I didn't really understand it, but who am I?
Yeah, the Ravens folded. I mean, that's really no other way to put it. I mean, it's just a complete shell job by Lamar Jackson and the offense, Todd Monken, offensive coordinator. I mean, you're 80%, 82% of the offense is passing when you're the number one rushing team in the league. They just completely went away from that just because why? The Chiefs had a couple stops here and there. It was a close game. It wasn't like they were down that much to where they had to throw the ball so much to try to come back in the game, which is usually what we see when teams throw
Yep.
pass the ball. It was just and then if you are going to throw that much, you're not even getting the football to the guys that should be getting the football. I mean, like Nelson Aguilar is getting more targets than Odell Beckham Jr. Like I had tweeted this out during the game up there, like at halftime. I'm like, on what planet does Nelson Aguilar, a guy who's well known for drops, not showing up in the playoffs, is getting more targets than Odell Beckham Jr. Like I just that just doesn't make any sense to me. He was healthy, for as far as I'm concerned, as far as we're concerned, and injury report he was 100%. He gets two catches pretty much when the game is over. That's just coaching malpractice to me. And to me, I think sometimes with these coaches, they get in their own head, they get in their own way, they try to get too cute. They think that, oh, they're gonna do this, and so let's do this, let's surprise them with this attack, as opposed to just continuing to do what you do well, and then if they stop that, then change, then adjust. But to just come out and have a completely different game plan than what you've done all year, why you got to 13-4, why you had one of the best offenses in the league, it was just a weird scenario by by the Baltimore Ravens. He said, "Do either of you guys remember a clutch performance from Lamar playing from behind where he made a comeback?"
The only one I think of is that Dolphin game, right? Weren't they down like 20 something against the Dolphins and they came back and won
Uh,
not
shit.
in the regular season last year? You know
That
what
was
I'm
reverse. They were up and then they lost the lead to the Dolphins. Yeah,
Oh, it was reversed. Well, this is just awkward, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. But not really because usually they play where they play with the lead because they play keep away, right? Like, and it's kind of just going back to what we were just saying. They run the football, they control the clock, and they don't really have this. It's rare that they have deficits. So again, and again, it wasn't even like the deficit that they had in the game was so insurmountable to where like you had to completely change your entire game plan. It was just a weird game by the Ravens, man. Lamar just it was clearly some running lanes that he could have took, stayed in the pocket. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I think he was just trying to do too much. I think the offensive coordinator was also trying to do too much. In the first half, the Ravens defense, I mean, like guys, like, and I guess you could go. I'm just a guy that watches football. That's cool, but even I know with the brain, you don't let Travis Kelce get free release at the line of scrimmage. Like that should just be the number one thing you say as soon as you get coming to the meeting as a defense. We do not let this guy get a free release at the line of scrimmage. Jam them up, jam up the. And I said this last week when we previewed the game. Previewed the game. I said you got to make it ugly. You got to jam them at the line of scrimmage. Disrupt the rhythm between Mahomes and Kelsey because that's who he's going to go to when all fails, and that's exactly what happened in that first half. Now they did adjust and they went and played man, which I'm like, this is what you should have done in the first half. And they went and played man because there really is no other threat on the on
No,
for in terms of skill position players other than Kelsey for the Chiefs, and that's why they were able to hold that lead. And I think Kansas City only had like 70 yards of total offense the entire second half, which was a defensive masterclass by the Ravens. But the offense just wasn't able to catch up. And then you got Zay Flowers, like, I mean,
I
and
forgot to even mention that.
and then you got guys, they're telling me he's young or whatever. He's what, 23, so he's been playing football for 16 years. So I'm not really trying to hear that about the young stuff because one, you catch the ball. First off, you had a big play in the first half, which was a touchdown, great play. Then in the fourth quarter, you get another big play. After the offense was so lackadaisical and lethargic the whole game, you made two of the biggest plays of the game. Then you get up from the tackle, and then you throw the football in front of the defender. Like what are you doing
After pushing him back down.
after you pushing them down? And like it's like, where's your self awareness? Like you're first off you're down. Like it's not even like you're up in the game. If you're up in the game and you want to do that, okay, but you're down. You need to score. You know how slow and how bad the offense has been struggling the whole game. Why would you set your team backwards? And that's just coaching 101. That's what these coaches say all the time. Never beat yourself. And that's exactly what he did. And then he made a play. I think he had a nice catch, and then he made another catch. And again, this is what they also teach you. If you're not sure that you're going to get in the end zone, don't dive. And that was a great play by Snead. And that's just what defenses tell these defenders when they dive, punch the ball out because the football is disconnected from their body. He didn't have to do that. He could have embraced the contact and went in there. He probably would have scored. But
CJ, I
the
am so happy that you mentioned that play though, because I don't, I'm being so 100% serious right now. I thought I was having like a Mandela effect moment where like I thought one thing happened, but it wasn't true. Because I've said that like three separate times to people, and even on TV, the only thing I keep hearing about is the penalty. Like, don't get me wrong, the penalty was bad. But why is everybody like not mentioning the fact that this man fumbled it into the end zone and resulted in a touchback when it would have been a touchdown? I literally am so happy that you mentioned it because I thought I was going insane.
Yeah, just again, two plays by Zay Flowers that I mean, it's a tie ball game. It's a tie ball game, and there've been some clips that have come out as well. Even when he caught the pass, I think it was like a 40 plus yard pass. He tried again cutting inside when he made one cut. He had the right angle to run right into the end zone. Then he made another cut, which led to the tackle and the flag and everything. So that's what I'm saying, just trying to be too cute. And to me, like I'm like, that's a play that gets you cut. Now he's a talented player and he's one of the best players on the team, so he's not gonna get cut. But that is a play definitely that, if he doesn't have that last name or if he doesn't have that name, if he hasn't been producing the way he's been producing all year for them, those are two plays that could easily in the playoffs. Like, what are you doing? Where's your brain at? Clearly, to me, those are two selfish plays. Those are two selfish plays, and those were two plays that um, cost them. Now, is it all because of him? No, but when you get those opportunities to get into the red zone, you have to make it count, especially in the playoffs.
And
Especially
especially in a game like that.
yes,
I
especially in
mean,
the game and how the game was going, you have to make those plays count. So, uh,
you can almost make listen, you don't want to make the play no matter what, but you can almost forgive it more if that was some wild shootout, high scoring game because you can almost feel like you can recover from it. Yeah, you fumbled it
right,
into the end zone, it's a touchback, but hell, the score's 27-35. Like we know that we're going to be able to drive down the field again. You guys could not move the ball and could not score. Ball security and good decision making literally has to be your number one priority at that point because you guys can't do anything as is. So when
Yeah,
something good finally does happen, you got to keep it that way because momentum in football, to me, is bigger than any other sport. Listen,
yeah,
love baseball, whatever. Oh yeah, we got the momentum. We just won 2 games in a row. We have our best pitcher on the mound the next day. We're gonna win. He can go out if the pitcher goes out there the next game after you just won. You can win a baseball game 20-0. If the pitcher the next day is not on his A game, you have no momentum because it's all based on that. I think football is the most momentum-driven sport ever.
no,
Because
100.
I mean, we're really. I'll definitely want to mention it. Next up. I mean, are you good on this game, CJ? Because I mean, I'll go right into it.
No, I got it. Just a few more points, and yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And the NFC Conference Championship game is a true testament to that take, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, you just can't have those mental lapses. You just can't in the playoffs, man. Attention to detail is so key, and it's unfortunate. You go 13-4, you got home field advantage throughout, number one seed, and you get packed up. And I just it's sad, man. It's sad. It's sad, and people are gonna say he's never gonna win a Super. Lamar's never gonna win a Super Bowl. I disagree with that. He still has a lot of. I mean, God willing, he stays healthy. He has a lot of time left in the league. He's only 26, which is crazy. It feels like he's been in the league for
Damn, is
forever.
he really?
26, he's gonna turn 27 this year. So, I mean, he's not even close to. He's not even. He's 3 years removed from 30. So he still has a bunch of time left to get it done. It's still a really good team, but to me, this just felt like the year because the Chiefs didn't have elite skill position players. You Mahomes eliminated Allen, so you don't have to worry about that because last time they went up against each other, the Bills got the edge when the Ravens played each other in the playoffs. Burrow was out, Watson was out, C.J. Stroud is a rookie. So I mean, it's
If,
like
if there was a
Justin
year to take
Justin
the
Herbert,
AFC, this
Jim
was it.
Harbaugh. Like it's just like now Justin Herbert has Jim Harbaugh. I think they're going to be a better team. We'll see what happens with the Jaguars. Like,
See what happens with the Jets.
see what this is what I'm saying. You got to capitalize on these years, man. It's just football. So you just have to. And I understand it's a human. Humans playing the game, and no one's perfect. But when those opportunities are there, you definitely have to seize them. And unfortunately, the Ravens weren't able to do so. And it's just a true testament to the coaching from the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they did a hell of a job on this Ravens offense. They were averaging 28 points a game and only held them to 10.
Yep.
3 points in the second half. I mean, and I also said this last week. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the greatest defensive minds ever, ever. I mean, he held that 18-0 Patriot team to 14 points. I mean, 17 points. Like, uh, like, come on. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? I believe he has what, 4 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator, two with the Giants, 2 with the Chiefs. So I mean, this guy's one of the greatest defensive minds in the history of the sport, hands down. So I give that man a lot of credit, and I give this
Got
defense.
3.
Oh, he has 3. Okay, he has 3. I mean, I give that man a lot of credit, man. He's done a hell of a job against some really highly touted offenses throughout his career. And you got Andy Reid, one of the best offensive minds. I mean, the coaching is elite over there in Kansas City. I know people want to, again, with the GOAT conversation and
Stop
Bill,
it.
but at the end of the day, you need a it's a collection of everything that needs to happen in order to even have these conversations when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. And he has Andy Reid. And now, of course, people are going to make the case Andy Reid didn't win anything before he had Patrick, unlike Bill and Tom. They won together. Cool. But he was still an excellent coach. He still went to multiple NFC Conference Championship games when he was with the Eagles. He just didn't have that quarterback. That's what it comes down to. McNabb was good, but he wasn't Mahomes, clearly. So that's again the Chiefs. That's why they're the cream of the crop. That's why Mahomes is his era, and he's going to continue to flourish until he's done. Until I guess when Kelsey leaves, or but knowing this team, they always find a way. And as long as they got 15 under center, they're always going to have a shot. So just a great win. by the Kansas City Chiefs, getting 2 road wins, road victories after not having any road playoff games under Patrick Mahomes' belt. And to do this against Allen and Jackson in hostile territories at M&T and over there in Buffalo. I mean, this guy's a baller. This guy's a baller, and if he gets one more, definitely got to put him in that conversation in the top 2. I mean, he gets one more. To me, I got him right. I got him right. I got Brady 1 and I got Mahomes 2. I mean, just because he's not even done yet, and look what he's done right now, and it's a completely different era than what we've seen over the years past. So, congratulations to the Chiefs, and for the Ravens, just back to the drawing board.
Gridiron said, I'm curious how CJ Stroud will do next year now that the tape's out on him. Honestly, I know that there's usually that sophomore slump. Don't see it with him. I don't see it. I mean, is it possible? Could I eat my words? Absolutely. But, I mean, that was one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen, ever, from a quarterback.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, Tank Dell will be back. Obviously, Collins will be there. I think they figured out running back at the end of the season. Maybe they bring back Singletary instead of, and they kind of fade Pierce out because Singletary was balling out there. Obviously they'll be able to continue to add in the draft, in positions of need. And they might have had the defensive rookie of the year on their team as well. So, I mean,
yeah, 100%. And also, look where they're located. They're located in Texas. So, free agents are going to be willing to go play for the Texans because of the no state tax. It's a great place to live. Houston's a really good place to live. I got a couple of friends down there right now. They said it's a great area. So, I mean, you got the quarterback, you got the coach, you got the good weather, more money in your pocket, and you have an opportunity to win. Division is winnable. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, I don't know what he is. I don't know. We don't know yet. Anthony Richardson, talented, but as we see as it's constructed right now, can't stay healthy. Tennessee Titans, question marks. So, even it's going to be obviously up to CJ Stroud, whether or not that he eliminates that narrative that Gridiron just talked about. He's going to have to continue to improve. I would have liked to see him use his legs a little bit more too. But I think he's going to be fine.
All right. Let's get into the choke job of the weekend. That would be the Lions versus the 49ers. Obviously, a unbelievably great start and first half for the Lions. I mean, I think their first drive was 3 plays, had that, beautiful end around for the touchdown, come back, score again. I think they came back, scored again, and then going into halftime, they kicked the field goal. I believe the halftime score was 24-7. They were absolutely rolling, looked like they were going to run away with it. And then this is where the momentum conversation comes in. Because, like I said before, I think that momentum is the biggest thing in football. Or I should say, momentum in football means more than anything, on the other sports. Like I said, baseball, it can be stopped with the next day's pitcher. Basketball, there's runs. Football, I think momentum just changes games. And I think as much as I absolutely love Dan Campbell, I've stated it on this show several times, very entertaining. He's brought the Lions out from the gutter, obviously. I mean, even his first season there, absolutely terrible. Second season, obviously, they improved. And then his third season, well, we know where they are now as well. But with all that being said, you got to call it out when it has to be called out, because second half, the 49ers go down to kick the field goal. They make it a 14-point game, right? I think they were down 17 prior to that. The Lions go down the field on a 4th and 2, I want to say it was. They end up going for it. They don't get it. Dan Campbell said before the game, it is a race to 30 points. Well, then obviously you say, well, he was going for it because, they scored the touchdown. Then he's getting to 30 points first. The field goal only gets him to, 27, whatever. And, I keep hearing the argument, and this is where I said I might contradict myself because I said it with the Ravens. What gets you there, you should probably stick with. Oh, well, Dan Campbell's aggressive all season. He has to be aggressive in these moments too. That is where circumstances come into play. Because you also have to know your situation. You are in the play. You can be aggressive in week 10. You want to know why? Week 11 will be there no matter what. But you are in the NFC Conference Championship game with a chance to go to the Super Bowl for the first time in the history of your franchise. They have a championship. It wasn't even a Super Bowl then. Like, you have to be a little different. I'm not telling them that, they shouldn't still wheel and deal and throw the ball all over the place, do whatever that guy. Yeah, of course. Kick the field goal there. Go back up 17. Kick the ball deep, make the 49ers drive the length of the field. Like, keep them at bay. Keep hitting them with the jab. Like, they were on the ropes and they were going for knockout punches when, maybe a couple body shots made them drop the hands, and then they could have delivered that. You know what I mean? Like, go kick the field goal there, go back up 17, keep your lead, keep jabbing them, and stick with it. No, you go for it. And now the 49ers had kicked a field goal. Okay, we scored. Okay, we're only down 14 now. That's only 2 possessions. Okay, we can feel a little bit better about ourselves now. Then you get a stop on 4th and 2. Okay, that's really a boost to the momentum. Because here's the difference too. I think if you kick the field goal there, even if they miss it, it's kind of like, whew, thank God we got away with one there. Like, yeah, obviously, you can say, well, that's going to change momentum too, but it's kind of more of like a thank God that we got away with it instead of like, we stopped you. We made the play instead of you guys screwed it up. So they get the stop on that 4th and 2. They go down the field, score a touchdown. Okay, now you're down 7 points. So now the momentum's really turned around because it's, oh my God, we were just down 17, 5 minutes ago. Now we're down 7 and we stopped them and we've scored on these 2 possessions. All right. And then they fumble. The minute that they fumbled that ball, the game was over. I'm sorry, it was over. Because then they recover that fumble, they go down, they score the touchdown. Crowd is going absolutely insane. The momentum is fully on the 49er side. And then later in the game, this is where it really blew my mind. Obviously, I think they should have kicked the field goal in that situation anyway. I think there was also another opportunity to tie the game at 27, and Dan Campbell went for it on 4th down again and didn't get it. Instead of tying the game at 27, I believe it was something like that. But anyway, then at the end of the game, now the Lions are down 10. So obviously, it has hit the fan. It has hit the fan. You have all 3 of your timeouts. You're at the goal line with a minute left. 3rd and goal, you run the ball and call a timeout after you don't get it into the end zone. If you wanted to run the ball, congratulations, but at least get up on the ball and then call it and have 2 plays called. Your 3rd down play call and your 4th down play call. So if you don't get in on 3rd and goal, you have 4th down immediately called and you can just go out and do that, whatever. Obviously, you need 10 points, so you're going to have to score twice. But if you keep all 3 timeouts, you're going to get the ball back if you stop them on defense. You're going to. Listen, is it a long shot still? Absolutely. You're lying to yourself if you say it isn't. But then again, we've seen crazier things happen. What if the snap gets messed up? What if the kicker, messes up the kick? What if they block it? What if it's a great return? Who knows? Miracle in the Meadowlands. But they run the ball on 3rd and goal, call the timeout, score the touchdown, and now you're forced to kick an onside kick. It's worked twice the entire season. Twice. It's like a 4.2% chance that onside kick works. And that's what you decided to go with? Like, if anything, kick the field goal the second you were comfortable in field goal range, go down by a touchdown, and then, I know you need a touchdown instead of a field goal. But like I said, at least you're getting the ball back. You're giving yourself a chance. It's still a difficult one, but it's much higher than getting that 4.2% onside kick. So just some as much like I said, as much as I love MCDC, there were some bad calls there, and like I said, oh well, you live by the sword, die by the sword. They were aggressive all season. They got to stay that way. Not when you're going for the Super Bowl. Listen, if you want to be aggressive in week 10, like I said, congratulations, because you know you're playing next week no matter what. You could get listen, we saw the Broncos get beat by 60 points. They played the next week. You're not playing the next week when you lose these games. Like you have to change your approach according to the situation there, brother.
Yeah, just I mean, everything you said was right, spot on, bro. And I knew as soon as he missed the field goal, I knew it. I was like, man, and I was saying it. I was like, just go up 10, and the situation would have been much better. But they get the ball back and the IU catch, like guys, like like how many times is that just a deflection, incomplete pass? It gets a deflection, and then he catches it. Those are the two biggest plays of the game. Getting the stop on 4th and 2, like Connie talked about, and then that Brandon Ayuk catch on the next series. So just an unfortunate situation for the Detroit Lions. They had that opportunity. Yeah, even if they made the field goal, there's no guarantee that they would have won the game. But you eliminate that sense of life. You eliminate that situation where you giving the team some type of life, and they just didn't capitalize. They didn't capitalize. That game was there for the taking, and they didn't want it. They didn't want it as bad as the 49ers wanted it. And I got to give credit to Brock Purdy and the offense and the defense too, getting the stop and recovering, getting the fumble and getting the ball back, and the offense started to click. McCaffrey, made some big plays. Purdy like rolled to his left and then threw it back to his right, and Jennings had like a one-handed grab. That was a crazy catch. Debo was just doing anything possible to try to win. Screens, short passes. Kittle made some plays. So just and he made the comment like, you don't know if you're gonna get back. You're gonna get back here. It's true. It's true. You don't know. There's no guarantee. I mean, listen, the 49ers have been so good that they've been here for the last 5 seasons or so. But they don't have. I mean, and the Lions have a really good team. I think they have a really good roster. But I think the conference still isn't to the level of the AFC to where there's great quarterback play. So yeah, they could potentially get back. I'm not going to say they're not going to get back, but when these moments are here, you have to be able to capitalize, and they got too cute. I understand they being aggressive, but like Connie said, man, situational football matters, especially during this time of the year. This is the second to last game of the season, like not regular season, like the whole season. So you got to make those things count, and you got to take your points. You got to take your points, and this is why even in basketball, I'm not the biggest fan of these analytic guys, because they tell you, oh, go for it. The probability of going for it is this percentage or that percentage. And the thing that I always say about these analytic people is they always miss context. And context is so key in sports, because just because one team was successful doing it that way or going for it or shooting a bunch of threes doesn't mean you have the same roster that team has in terms of floor spacing or the right guys on offense or defense to get the necessary stops or convert those fourth downs in a football scenario. So
The same
um,
analytics, the same analytics telling the 10th guy on the bench to take a three-pointer would have told Michael Jordan to do the same thing. Like, which one would you have rather had?
yeah, exactly, bro. It's just it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm not saying those guys have no place in sports, but you got to just look at everything, and you also have to
100%.
like we're saying. I don't want to keep repeating it, but you also have to look at the situation and how things are being played. You don't just do it just because the number said do it. Like you do it because you feel like it's right. The situation, the scenario is key, and that's what you do. But just a tough, disappointing loss for the Detroit Lions, man. Which loss is more disappointing, Ravens or Lions? I mean,
I think
it's.
disappointing is the Ravens. I think uh
I mean, it's
I think
close because
I
I really
I
thought the
think
Lions was about to. What happened?
disappointing to me is the Ravens. More the worst loss is the Lions.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, yeah, phrasing it that way, I see what you're saying. Because they had the substantial amount of lead. They had the lead, and they could have easily, added to the lead and really put it away, but they
How they
didn't.
won?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been one of the biggest upsets in NFL history. I mean, if
I
they're
think
able to do that.
7-point underdogs or something like that. I want to say.
But then
No,
also,
I know what you mean though. I know,
yeah,
yeah.
franchise wise and everything. Like, I mean, you're going on the road at Levi Stadium against a team that stacked. Everybody said this is the best roster in football. Da 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 da. Right. And you got Jared Goff at quarterback. A guy that was just kicked off another team in the same division. He couldn't beat Shanahan when he was over there with the Rams. Now he gets an opportunity to do it with the Lions. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think it's pretty even. I think it's pretty even to me. Different reasons, but I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50. And I know that's not like, the sports media answer, but I don't care, man. Just because both reasons are just equally as disappointing. Man, I mean, I feel for both fan bases, man. I really do. I really do.
I feel
I would
so
say
bad
more.
for
I would say more so the Lions because they were right there.
that.
They were really right there. And I mean, in that game for the Ravens too. I mean, again, like I said, Zay Flowers doesn't make two boneheaded plays. They're still playing football. So we have overtime because the fact that the Ravens defense still got like 2-3 more stops. Lamar threw a pick, and I thought it was like really over. And then they got another. I mean, it was. I mean, so I mean, it was great football. It was great. It was very entertaining. I'll say that. I'll say that. It was two entertaining games. And I mean, we got the result, and then we got these two teams going at it again for the second time in 4 years.
CJ, it's crazy you mentioned that because listen, here's my thing. I know it says preview / prediction here, but I mean, we got the Pro Bowl this weekend, right? And then, well, I mean, barely
Yeah,
the
I
Pro
mean,
Bowl. I don't even know what you really want to consider.
the toilet
But,
bowl.
I mean, we're gonna have another show next week, so
Right.
I think we hit the people. Just my opinion. You can overrule me. It's totally okay. I think we hit the people with the teaser. We tell them who we think is going to win. No reasoning. They got to come back next week to find out. I'm just saying.
No reasoning. Okay. And then we got also NFL awards too.
Okay.
That probably give out. Will I watch the Pro Bowl?
I watch the Pro
It's
Bowl
not even
games.
the pro.
I'm a
Not even
sucker.
the. I don't
I'm a
even
sucker.
consider
I'll
it the
watch the
Pro.
Pro Bowl games. I'm not watching the actual game, but I'll watch the stupid ass dodgeball and
Like,
everything. I'm an idiot, though. I'm an
man,
idiot.
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching
Hey,
that, bro.
listen,
I'm not
it's
watching
fair
that.
enough. I don't blame you. Like I said, I'm just not very smart.
Yeah, it's not the same to me, and I get it, right? Like
Sean Taylor almost killed
it's a
me on that.
meaningless game. You don't really need to play it. God forbid one of these guys get hurt. Now you're getting hurt in February. You're out. Now you're definitely out for the whole next season. It's a long ass year for the player, and that could be a franchise. I get all that. So it's just different times, man. It's just different times. But yeah, okay. I'll say my team. I'm gonna say San Francisco. I think San Francisco gets it done.
CJ, I've bet against the Chiefs twice this postseason, and I was wrong both times. And damn it, I'm going to do it again because I'm going with the 49ers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll give our reasons next week. But
Yeah, a little teaser for you, Billy. You gotta come back to the show. You gotta subscribe, leave a comment like Gridiron does. You gotta tell your friends. And listen, we'll have a full breakdown preview of the Super Bowl next week. Come
Absolutely.
back, join the guys. It's a great time.
Yeah, great time. And then also, what we'll do next week too is we'll give out our favorite Super Bowl moments.
Oh, I
Talk
like
about that leading up to 58.
top 5 moments.
Yeah, top
I
5
can,
moments.
I
We'll do
can
that.
compile a list. I can do
try
this.
to not make it too Patriot heavy, man.
Yeah, I know that's true.
Butler,
Yeah,
Falcons.
I'll tell you what's not going to be on there. I'll tell you what's not going to be on there.
Oh
You ain't
yeah,
seen
I
no.
can tell you too. I can tell you a couple as well. That
I'm not.
definitely.
I'm not even going to mention them. I can't. It'll make me sick.
Yeah. Oh
And we'll
man.
do. And we'll do our awards too.
Yes. So awards, top 5 Super Bowl moments, and then we'll give out
A reason.
in-depth analysis of the Super Bowl.
That's what I would say as well. All right. Well, listen, that marks the end of the show. Then I think this was obviously a very very fun show. I have a great time with CJ as always. Sorry we're a little late. My fault. Forgot what day of the week it was. Um, but with that being said, Anthony Conover underscore over there on Twitter. Make sure you go follow us. Make sure you go follow at the hard count underscore as well over there on Twitter. Uh, got some things cooking up. I told CJ about a little clip maker at the beginning of the show that we might have to start investing in. All right, so we'll have some things coming. We'll keep everybody filled in. CJ, where can they find you?
Yes, sir. CJames9 underscore on Twitter, /X, whatever you guys want to call it.
Yeah, I refuse.
CJ versus the world on YouTube, and then also MNC Hoops live every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, covering all things NBA. My guy Michael Lawson and Nick Andre, man, thank you guys.
All righty, that does it for this one. And hey, we'll catch you on the next one. All right.
See you guys.